Hi everybody! Do you guys want to learn how to make one of these LED flashing lights? Well then stick around and find out how we do it on our Cricut Maker. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela Flip and Flutter Creations, and today I'm going to show you how to make one of these really cool flashing LED lights. Now I get the acrylic blanks from 143 Vinyl. 143vinyl.com. They've changed their name recently, so sometimes I get it mixed up. And I also get the bases from them as well. And the neat thing about the bases is that you can actually, let's see, where did I put the cable? You can actually use AA batteries in here. There's 3 of them on the bottom. Or you can plug it up with a cable that connects to a USB. So that's pretty neat. And then the other neat thing is that it comes with a remote that gives you a lot of different options. I think there's like 16 different settings you can put it on. You can flash, you can change just to one color, or you can strobe, fade, and it'll fade from one color to the next. And then there's like a smooth transition. So pretty neat little thing. These are fun to make night lights for kids. I'm making these for a client right now. I'm making 4 of them. So I've already made one, and I'm going to show you how to make one on my maker here below. So we're going to start by jumping on our computer in Cricut Design Space to see exactly what the file needs to look like and what settings that we put it on, and then we'll check it out as we etch it, engrave it, as we engrave it on the Cricut Maker. I always get that mixed up, so sorry if I say etch where I should say engrave. To me, it's almost the same thing. So let's get started. Okay, so today we are going to take our acrylic blank and we are going to engrave in Cricut Design Space on our Cricut Maker. Now, I've already done one, so I'm just need to make sure I save that. So I'm going to save it. So this is the file that I've already created. The big thing to remember is if you want everything to stay exactly where it is on the screen, you need to make sure that you attach. So right now I have 2 different things that I actually want to engrave, and I want them to stay exactly where they're at. So I have attached my circle and my SS there. Okay. And then I always keep a copy of the template for whatever I'm engraving on. Sorry, this file, I probably should delete some stuff. So this LED circle is actually the template that I got from the company I purchased my blanks from. And so I always try to make sure that I keep that underneath there, and you can hide that, but I want it on there so that I can make sure that I can line up the design with the blank exactly where I'm going to put it on my mat. So we want it to make sure that it's going to engrave it in the right spot on our blank. So I have my 2 pieces that I actually am engraving, and you want to make sure that you have clicked on engrave, make sure you have maker selected, whichever maker that you have, and that you have the layer set to engrave. Once you have that ready, then you can go ahead and click make it. All right, now it loaded it on 2 separate mats. All right, so I have it on 2 different mats. I'm actually going to move my design to the first mat. We want to move that to the first mat and click confirm. Okay, so this is my layer. Let's move the SS out of the way. So this is my layer that I'm going to hide, but right now I want to put it on the mat picture exactly where I'm going to lay it on the mat. So I want to try, and let's move me out of the way as well. So I'm going to try and center this. I'm going to use the 6 as my guideline, and then I'm going to go 1 down. I could go 2 down, but I think I'm just going to stick with 1 down. That worked for the last one I did. And then I want it to be pretty even. You can kind of tell by the bottom a little more than the top, because the bottom, you can see it's nice and straight and it looks like it's about the same width apart. So once I have that where I know I'm going to put my blank on the mat, then I can figure out where I want my design. So I think I want my design, I'm going to go a little bit further up, about there. Actually, a little bit further. There we go, about there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and hide that outer layer. You just select the 3 dots and hit hide selected. Now, this is exactly how the design is going to engrave on my blank. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. Okay. The material that I use is I mark it as acrylic thick 2 millimeter. I'm not sure if that's how thick this is, but that works for what I'm doing. The one I just showed you was used using that setting, and that's the one that's worked for me. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. And default, everything else is fine. So let's go over to the Maker now and see what we do from here. The things you're going to need are the purple mat, because that is the strong grip mat. You've got your blank that you need to go ahead and take off the protective seal that is on the top layer. I'm going to leave the one on the bottom until I'm all done at engraving and until I've cleaned off the top so that I can try to keep that back as clean as possible. Okay, the other thing that you're going to need is some tape. I use just some blue painter's tape to tape down what you can, and I also use my brayer, my Cricut brayer, and I'll show you what I do with this in just a second. All right, so I put that I want it to line it up with the 6 right here in the center, and I want to go 1 down. So I want it to be pretty even, and I think that's about right. I want to make sure that top layer is there. You can see this is pretty even here, and it looks like just the right amount is on each side. Just a little bit on each side. I might be able to go over just a tad with that. Maybe about right there. There we go. I think that looks a little better. There we go. Okay, so once I have that even and right where I want it, then I'm just going to push down on it. Okay, and then I'm going to use the brayer to just push down on that. It just makes sure that it gets a nice even attachment to that mat, just in case. So the whole reason I bought the brayer was specifically for doing engraving projects, because I heard that that really does help. I actually used it on another project when I put some 641 vinyl down. It was kind of curled, and I used that to kind of lay it down, and it really seemed to help. So depending on what the project is, I usually put a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. Now this project, I'm just going to do bare minimum at the top, just enough that hopefully the mat doesn't, the blank doesn't move on the mat. And I'm not going to put any on the sides. Sometimes I'll go all the way around, but this design has that circle right around the edge, and I don't want it to miss engraving any spots because the tape is in the way. So I'm going to start by going ahead and loading my mat. Okay. And I have moved, and I did this quite a while ago, I moved most of my white little star roller things, I moved them all the way to the edge, because pretty much everything I do on my Maker is all things that are thicker, and I don't want that, those were in the way. In fact, the first time I tried to do one of these, it wouldn't feed through, and it turns out that those were in the way, and so it wasn't able to feed it underneath it. So make sure you take care of that. Now, I already have all my settings going, so I'm going to click the, well, first I'm going to just make sure that I like to make sure that my engraving tip is just kind of wiped down every once in a while, and I hadn't done it in once or twice. Okay, the last 2 times. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click my flashing Cricut light, and we're going to go ahead and let that go. it's all done. Okay, oh my God. That did not take very long at all. So slide you back out of the way. Now, what I do, because you'll notice there's quite a bit of like debris on here. Now, you don't want to just rub that off because it will scratch your acrylic. And I swear, no matter what I do, my acrylic gets scratched anyway. But what I do is I take the tape I just used to tape it down, and I just kind of use it to peel off as much of that debris as I can before I try to clean this. So just kind of going anywhere that there's an edge. And on these bigger things that might take a few more minutes, but it's worth it if you don't end up with any scratches or the bare minimum of scratches, because I swear acrylic just scratches very, very easy. So there's really no help in it. You're gonna end up with probably some, you know, scratches in the background just from the roller rolling it through. But we can do the best we can to try and keep any major scratches from happening. So I'm gonna throw that one away, and I'm gonna peel this one off. And then I'm just gonna kind of go up the S's. Here's that one. And I'm just gonna go down the side. And you can see how much there is there just by like the raised pieces of the tape. That's like all the stuff that's gonna come off. Boop. Okay. And this is a step, like I said, it takes a little bit. And even after I do this, sometimes there's still stuff on there. I might have to grab another clean piece of tape. But for the most part, I think I got it. You can also just kind of pounce around like that. And I just kind of look from an angle, and then I can kind of wipe down. And there wasn't really a lot that came off there, so great. Yay! All right, so now I'm going to just kind of peel that off. Boop. And I'm going to take the back layer off because you'll notice it's still frosty looking, and that's because there's still a clear protective film on the back. So now we can flip it over. And let's see if I move the mat, if you can see that a little better. There we go. So there you go. Now it's all pretty. And sometimes I'll go ahead and clean it just to get the smudges off. I have some alcohol in a little cup, and I will just wipe this down real quick. I just did it on the other one, and that seemed to help. I'm not gonna wipe, just kind of dabbing on the areas where there's spots, just in case there's a little bit left. But I'm just trying to get around those, mostly the outer area where my fingers have touched, and then the back. Just kind of wipe it down. And when I give these out to a client, what I do is I wrap them usually in tissue paper. And then the light itself comes in a box. It looks like this. So it already comes boxed up, ready to go. And I'll link those products down below for you. But there you go. There it is. All done. Pretty. I've got 2 more to make. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. Now you know how to make your own engraving on acrylic. These awesome LED lights. I love them. They can be used for all different things. And they come in a variety of shapes too. Squares, rectangles, little interlocking hearts, and the circles. Ooh, and a snow globe. Those look pretty neat as well at Christmas time. So hopefully this video was helpful for you, and if it was, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can be notified when I post my next tutorial. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Bye!